This is my fourth podcast with Spiritual Forces of Evil in America. Today we're going to talk about the revival of the occult. The spiritual void left in God's absence drew millions into dark spirituality. There was a massive revival of the occult. It brought the cult beliefs and practices into the mainstream of America. Ishtar has the power of magic. She is the god of mediums and those who were said to be possessed of spirits. They spoke for the gods and revealed supernatural knowledge and counsel. Her spirit possessed them, as it did her prophets. Ishtar is a media, the media between the gods and the mortals. Today such mediums are known as fortune tellers, psychics, and channelers. She can redirect or inflame a person's sexual desire or romantic affections. The spells could involve rituals. Witches are real. Out of the occult revival came an explosion in the practice of witchcraft, as well as the number of women identifying as witches. It will emerge pagan worship with the Eastern religions and produce movements, organizations, and religions dedicated to Satan worship. It will include the worship of Mother Goddess, Natural Goddess, Warrior Goddess, and the Great Goddesses, among others. It is all coming together, the sexual revolution with feminism with the occult, and the occult with intoxicating substances with music, and music with the sexual revolution. They're all joined together. The new morality was a revival of pagan morality. The occult and the New Age beliefs were a revival of pagan rituals and religious practices, and the sexual revolution was a reviving of pagan sexuality. Now let me give you my testimony. About 15 years ago, my eyes were opened to the spiritual realm. I was taught witches and spirits were not real by society. The devil had deceived me. As a child, you celebrate Halloween and enjoy the candy and dressing up, and we are so unaware that it is a pagan holiday that Christians celebrate. I was the first to decorate my house with witches and goblins and anything scary. Then I met two ladies that I love with all my heart, and they led me into a deeper level of understanding God's Word. Dorothy Prine and Julie Musgrove showed me the spiritual realm by teaching me their wisdom. They're not perfect, but they did have more knowledge and experience than I had. I will forever be grateful for them spending their time to teach me. I want to teach you. Younger women need to listen to the wisdom and knowledge of older women placed in their life. You are blessed if you have someone like I did in these two God-fearing women. They taught me to fear God and understand His warnings. God tells us that the fear of God brings knowledge, and knowledge brings wisdom. They had told me that witches were real, but I didn't believe them. So one day, Van, my husband, and I were in Books A Million in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I asked God to show me if witches were living around me and were real. It only took him a minute or two to answer that prayer. Van was standing, waiting for me at the door entrance, and I was standing in line to purchase my books in my hand. The lady in front of me starts talking to the clerk and tells him that she just loves demons and devils. She was so interested in witchcraft and wanted to know more. She was purchasing some books on the subject. She said that she got her interest from her mother. Her mother loved dabbling in witchcraft. She figured it was just a generational curse, and I had just been taught about generational curses by Julie and Dorothy. I did not know anything about generational curses either, so my mouth dropped open when she said that. Then she said, I just live up the road at McGee, Mississippi, and there was a group of them that liked studying the topic of witches and demons. Van saw me just turn white as a sheet. He mouthed at me, "Are you okay?" I shook my head that I was okay, but he knew something had happened. God does not want you to doubt His Word. He showed up and showed out again in Walmart in Laurel about 30 minutes later. I was a teacher for 14 years, and when you go to Walmart, you see so many people that you know, and I usually did not look at people because I was in a hurry to get my items and get home. I did not want to carry on a conversation with people, but today was going to be different. I asked God to show me people that had demons on them, and yes, He did in a big way. I checked out my items and was going to the exit doors, and Van was just a little bit ahead of me walking. I started speaking to everyone and looking them in the eye. I spoke to a family and a couple more people. Then a little old lady that was humped over walking with a cane looked me straight in the eye when I spoke, and she growled at me, and her face come in and out of her head. It scared me to death. Van fell into the little machine that grabs toys for kids when you put money in it. I thought he saw her too. I grabbed my phone and I called my best friend, Darlene Buffkin, to tell her what Van and I had just saw and that this demon had come in and out of this woman's head just like the movies. As I was telling Darlene, Van says, "I did not see her, but I felt her, and it made me fall into the machine." This is when I learned firsthand that people can see and feel demons. Demons are real. Well, the following day, I got on the internet to see if I could find out about witches. They advertise on the internet to join their coven. Look for witches near you. You'll be surprised at what you'll find. If you know me, you know I never stop talking. So I told everyone and everybody about that experience. The next day, I was telling my friend, Pam Young, about the experience. She lived in Jackson, Mississippi. We both live close to McGee, Mississippi. So I know some people. I know some people thought, and they still think I'm crazy, but I know what I saw, and I want others to realize that the devil has deceived too many people. Well, Pam calls me a week later and tells me a story about a coworker having the same experience I had about the demon coming in and out of a lady's face and growling. She had told her coworker, "If you told me your story a week ago, I would not have believed you. But my Christian friend, Radonna Hendry, had the same experience a week ago." She said, "I know Radonna was telling the truth, so I know you are too." She was able to comfort her coworker because of me sharing my experience. Hopefully, if someone you know has had an experience like this, let them know that you believe them. It was very scary seeing and hearing the woman in Walmart. I can see where people will die in the end times when they see demons reappearing. Christians need to prepare themselves and know they have nothing to fear. God tells us that we have all power in the name of Jesus over the demonic world. Ishtar the Transformer. Ishtar's specialty is transformation. The revival of the godless worship was also an outgrowth of the feminist revival that happened at the same time as the occult revival. Ishtar had seduced and enchanted a nation, intoxicated it, altered its perceptions, and thus changed its ways. The gods had been able to enter and possess America just like they did in Israel. The gods and goddesses were seducing in a transformation of Christian civilization into a pagan one. Ishtar is a sorcerer. She is known for her powers to alter people's affections and desires, their thoughts and identity, and now human nature will be in her playbook. It will be a whole new level that is unbelievable. It will take the sexual revelation to a deeper stage. This will be a whole new realm of logical explanations. This new realm will redefine male and female nature and purpose. She will blur the distinctions between the two. She will seek to transform the nature of man and woman and what their purpose is. It will feminize all that was male and masculinize all that is female. It will turn a man into a woman and a woman into a man. It will become the chief weapon to smash the biblical foundations of Western civilization. It will be her greatest, darkest magic. Ishtar in the workplace and in the military. Ishtar is never bound to any one man. She is economically self-supporting and the independent woman. When the woman entered the workforce, there was a decline in marriage. Divorce has increased the number of women without a husband, and many are single moms. They now are replacing the functions of the missing husbands as provider and protector. Women were increasingly told to seek meaningful and fulfillment not in marriage and motherhood or family, but in a career. Demand equal rights in the workplace. Ishtar was bent on changing the traditional feminine roles of women. Women were encouraged and introduced to become aggressive, competitive, dominant, and fierce. They were encouraged to wage war against the concept of femininity and defy male authority. The feminist movement of the 1960s and 70s originally focused on dismantling workplace inequality, such as denial of access to better jobs and salary inequality, versus anti-discrimination laws. By the late 1990s, they had made tangible, far-reaching gains, including the outlaw of gender discrimination in education, college sports, and obtaining financial credit, banning of employment discrimination against pregnant women, and the legalization of abortion and birth control for all. Women were now taking on the identities of men. They manifested through the military goddess of Ishtar as fighters and warriors. Ishtar is known as a fighter and a warrior, and warrior women became part of a popular culture and entertainment where physical combat had once been the domain of men. Women became fighters in the military. In 1970, women were finally allowed to rise to command roles in non-combat units, and women and men began training together. In 2013, women achieved full status in the military, where they were granted the right to serve in direct ground combat roles. More than 300,000 women have served in Iraq and Afghanistan since 9/11. More than 9,000 have earned combat action badges, and today women make up 16% of our nation's armed forces, serving in every branch of the U.S. military. Ishtar is against father authority. With Ishtar, the patriarch of the family had to be overthrown. Ishtar would typically challenge her father's authority and seek to overrule it. In America, we went from Father Knows Best to the depiction of Father who knows almost nothing and served only as objects of jokes and mockery. The man's leadership was challenged. Children were encouraged to call the police on their father's authority. Schools do not seek approval from father's authority. We are challenged on how we are to raise our children. Ishtar would do to men as she had done to women. The next podcast will be about reprogramming human nature. Hope you've enjoyed this program. Give me a like and share it with others. Have a great day.